homelessness hustle on YouTube, most especially. Now, I had about 5 videos sent to me by the YouTube algorithm of Black women living in their cars, and they're not asking for help. Well, they are. They are asking for donations, but what they're doing is they're selling it as a great thing. They're not talking about how desperate they are, how much they need help. They will casually ask for help, but for the most part, they sell living in cars like the new lifestyle that's bringing them peace. I'm going to read my response to it for those who may not be able to see it on the screen. It said, emotional breakthroughs aside, in this video, this is the 5th video that's popped up since last night with Black women trying to make homelessness look like a viable choice and the new source of their happiness, at least until their car or van breaks down in the snow. So first, they were talking about independence and not needing men. Then black men were too broke and only wanted 50-50. Then it was they should date other races, most particularly white men, because they were too loyal to Black men and should expand their options. Then it was passport sisters, an attempted revival of something they kicked off in Black America in the 1990s with How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Now they're liberated, living in vans and cars and Walmart parking lots. Anything but cooperation. Please make this make sense. #pride.
Being single is a luxury, and that might be a luxury that you can no longer afford. That's for men and for women, but
Right.
specifically for women, that might be a
Mhm.
luxury you can no longer afford. Pride, ego, and the ladies, instead of getting on a Black man's program, they would much rather be single in their car, and I think that's perfectly okay. I think Black men need to hold them to that, make them mean it. Let me offer something.
Yeah.
Housewife, yes. Women writ large, Black women specifically, they'll sign up for that. Being a wife and having to contribute financially while still having the man have the last say, that is when they draw the line. The problem that we have here is a marketized view of manhood and masculinity that women refuse to let go, even though they got hit with the equality and egalitarianism that they demanded. You
Mm.
have the equality and egalitarianism, fine. You want to go 50-50, fine. You want egalitarian, fine. But when men show women what egalitarian look like, they start, and there's been a number of researchers that show this, that women are just as hard up on patriarchy as ever. They just want, as I usually say, patriarchy by feminist specifications.
That part.
That's when all of this hit the wall. So will the women sign up for housewife? Oh yeah. But when you tell them wife, but you still gonna work, oh, that's when they're like, oh, actually, nope. And so be it. Mr. Z is all about it. So be it. Then starve. So there was an article that was published. There's a couple of things going on right now that's going to exacerbate this. I just want everybody, especially if you Black, to hold on to your hats. Number one, the top 10% are spending 50% of the money in America.
Right.
They're 50% of the consumerism is going on by the top 10% of Americans, which is largely not Black people. We already know this. That's number
Yeah.
one. Number two, the wealth transfer that's going to go from the boomers to their largely millennial children is not going to include us. So that's going to exacerbate the issue even more. Right? Number two. Number three, because we're not married, that makes whatever wealth or whatever 50 grand or 100,000 or 25,000 your parents are gonna leave you, that's gonna pale in comparison, because the two white folks that got married, they're getting double the money. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So all of this is exacerbating the wealth disparity, right? And remember the article that came out years ago that said, Black wealth will be zero by 2053. I want everybody to remember that was before COVID. That was before COVID. COVID
Mhm.
sped that timeline up. Number one. Number two, what's going on with everything and Trump and the way he's organizing things. And remember, most Black people that work for government. All of that's exacerbating this. So I want us to hold on to our hats, and Black women are gonna have to make some different type of decisions in calculus. It's about to hurt. I hope all those content creators, all those Black girl in luxury, the scrollers, the investors, all of that stuff. I hope you mean it. I hope you mean it, because
Right.
it's about to be tough.
It's a right. And like I said, I mean, I would not. You hit the nail on the head. I think at this point, if you are trying to navigate this by yourself, particularly as a woman, it's like, I mean, I don't want to say game over, but I'm like, good luck. Good luck. I don't know what to tell you. I would not want to navigate these next few months by myself. I would not want to navigate these next few months without a faith in God, and I definitely wouldn't want to do it without a husband, without a community. All those things, that's when these things become essential. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about how the issue that woman has is they're okay being a pampered housewife if that means they don't have to be submissive. But the idea of being a wife to a man and you still have to work and pay bills and submit to him or be cooperative, it's like, no, they're not willing to do that. That is the setup that they don't want. But I'm
That's
here to
going to come at
say
a consequence.
that's gonna, so it's like, yeah, and like I said, in that sense, are they gonna choose homelessness over being a housewife or a wife, period? Well, perhaps. That's what it seems like. But
But
I'm just saying
Shay,
that doesn't work. Huh?
there's ways to think about homeless. If you know, I live in South Florida. Our money is crazy. It's been like that forever. The prices of things have been crazy forever. It's gotten worse as you know, more wealthy people have moved down. We have a number of billionaires that live in Florida. I think we're even ahead of. Are we ahead of Texas? I think we're even ahead of Texas, even though we got like 2/3 of the population of Texas, something like that in Florida of billionaires, right? So you know that, and that's driving the price of everything up. And Jeff Bezos is moving down here too. So there you go. Right. So you know when you consider that the way people, women writ large, have gotten away from the stigma of homelessness was to live in their parents' home for an extended amount of time. We're talking about 30 something, 40 something years old, right? And you know, I'm Haitian descent, so that's nothing to us. We don't really have a stigma about it, especially if you're not married and you don't have any kids. It's
Yeah.
nothing to have an aunt who's in her mid late 30s and she living at home with your grandparents because you know she never got married or has kids. But what I think is gonna happen are women are gonna try to do the Golden Girls thing, which is gonna be 4 or 5 deep in one house or one apartment. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Shay, it's gonna be some DV in the house. It's gonna be some DV in that apartment because the problem has always been the behavior. And if you never learned how to control your behavior and think about things differently, y'all gonna be fighting over the cereal. Y'all gonna be fighting.
I just want to say about Black culture, particularly as it pertains to females. They've been groomed to embrace independence over everything. Independence is the top. It's the Smurfberries to Smurf. It's the honor to
Yes.
Klingons. It is the most important thing that there possibly could be. You know, it's the Roadrunner to the Coyote. It's the most important thing ever. Independence, which means that she would rather be an independent homeless woman than to be a dependent, because if she's entering a relationship with no money and no place to live, she's dependent on the man. She would rather be an independent homeless woman than a dependent wife or girlfriend or, whatever.